What does change sound like? In Uganda, it sounds like football kicking, classrooms learning, voices full of hope. Welcome to Cambio Academy, where we live it every day. Hello everyone, thank you for viewing Corner. As I've told you, every week we shall be dropping a new episode, and today we have another guest, exciting guest, who is out of Cambio, who is out there in the world supporting Cambio from outside as a spectator, as a fan, and as a father to us, the kids in Cambio, as a fan. And today we are going to be talking about the life of a spectator out there in the field. How does he watch a game? How does he watch a football match for Cambio, for other teams as they are playing, and how different it is for him to watch Cambio and from other teams. And today we have Ronnie, a radio presenter from Voodoo FM, and today he's going to be talking about the Cambio fans and as a spectator of Cambio. And today I would like to introduce to you this man, and he would like to say some introduction of himself. Yeah.
Thank you, Joel. I'm glad to be here. I'm coach Ronnie Jokomatovu, a sports presenter at Radio Voodoo Masaka, 98.8 and 95.5. Also CEO at Ronnie Sports Center in Masaka Town.
Yes, that is Ronnie. He has a sports center in Masaka Town. If you want a shirt, a football shirt, you can visit him. A football boot for a kid, for yourself as a parent, you can visit his shop. It's in Masaka Town. And today, Ronnie, we want to talk about being a spectator, being a fan of Cambio or any other club. And we would like to hear from you. How different are you, and which type of a fan are you?
Yeah, I'm one of the, I think, best fans of Cambio.
Yes.
Because I have been a fan since its beginning. It started way back in 2018.
Yeah.
So I was there from its humble beginning up to now. So I could be the best fan or one of the best Cambio fans because I have been seeing step by step from New Kumbu up to here.
Yeah.
So I'm such a type of fan for Cambio.
Yeah. So you had the trust in it from the beginning, because in the beginning Cambio had small kids.
Yeah.
And you would not believe that it would be like this, having the good players playing for the national team. And how sure were you, and how did you have that hope in this academy that it could make it for the kids in the future?
Actually, I didn't know that Cambio could be big like this in its humble beginning, because I remember I met them at there is a certain beach in barracks, police barracks. There is a police barracks beach where I also train. Like I always play for football. So
for fun.
Yeah, for fun.
Yes.
So in their beginning, they used that pitch, a small pitch. So for us, we used to come at around 5:40.
Yes.
For them, they used to come at around 4. So after Cambio, by the time they finish training,
yes,
we also come in. So one day, like a journalist,
yes,
I decided to make a research about the kids because I saw many whites
yes,
with the boys. A few boys, like they were like 7, 8.
Yeah.
I can remember.
For the start, they were still small.
Yeah, I can remember Zidane. I remember Isima. Edwin.
Yes.
So I sat down. I asked myself, what's the location of this academy? Because I could see them coming in the evening. So I moved. I walked to a certain white. Fortunately, I went to Thomas exactly because there were many whites in the beach. But I went to Thomas. I introduced to him. Since I was a journalist,
Yes.
he loved me, and he was so good to me. So we had a good conversation. Actually, he gave me an interview that very day because I told him I'm a journalist. I work with the radio Woodoo. He didn't know about it because I think he doesn't understand Uganda. Remember our radio station? We broadcast in our local language. So he didn't know about that radio station. But I introduced myself to him. Then we get an interview. Actually, up to now I have it on my phone. And the good thing, everything he talked about in that Cambio, in that interview about Cambio, it's now happening. Yes. So it was like 8 years back. So that's where I started following Cambio. Yeah. So the other day, he took me to in New Congo. So I saw everything. It took me in all offices. Yeah. So that's when I get to know Cambio. I get to know Cambio. Since then, I have been. But in the beginning, I saw some great players who were so talented. Yes. Like Zidane, like Isma. I have by that time it was my first time seeing great talents in such an age. So I said, yeah, now this is the time. Yeah, this is the academy. Yeah. So since then, up to now, so I had a great belief, and I took Thomas in our radio station. Yeah. So we had a great interview, almost 1 hour with Isma. Yeah. So Isma was like this, very, very young. So all his worries were promising. So I said, I have to move with Cambio up to the end. So that's why we are still moving since day one.
Yeah, thank you for the support.
Yeah.
Before you knew Cambio, was there any other academy in Masaka that you could see that is like improving the talents in Masaka?
No, actually, I knew some of them, but like I could hear them, but it was my first time because Cambio was close to our pitch, so I could hear some academies, but that was my first time watching such academy in Uganda, because there were some academies who like very far in Kampala, like KJT, like Erigadi Youth, but in Cambio, it was my first experience to see such a project in Uganda.
Yeah. And back in the days, I think it was still the academy football. Yeah. They were playing Cambio because we were still young, we were kids as we were playing, and now we're a bit getting to the final stage for the game. Yeah. So how do you feel watching Cambio playing this time and back in the days? The difference do you feel? What difference do you feel when you watch them back in the days when they're still young and now?
First of all, I'm very proud. Since I was among the first fans, I was among the first people to believe in this project. And in Uganda, many people like to come when they think it's big. But for me, in the humble beginning, that's why I could give Thomas interviews, and maybe I could be the first journalist. Like to give Thomas an interview when Cambio had started, because Cambio had 2 months by the time I met Thomas. But for now, you can see many journalists, they want interviews with Thomas, with the players, but that has taken almost 8 years. But for now, I feel proud, because if I see my pick with Isma way back, then I see him now. There is progressing. He's among the best players of his age, like under 17 players. So I feel very, very proud. The way, if I see Hamza, James, by that time they were very, very young. So
sometimes I feel
I feel emotional, like the way our boys perform in AFCON under 17 and World Cup under 17. So I see, I can remember the journey because that team, those four boys, we are the one who were owning that national team. So I'm very, very proud about Cambio. Even you can see now, you see James is now a professional player, Hamza. So I think no one could expect that way back in 2018 because there have been many academies in Uganda. But they could come 2-3 years, they go away. And they say Cambio is here, and it's developing. If you remember the small pitch in Barracks, but now they can be honest at it. So I feel very, very proud about Cambio's progress.
Yeah, and part of watching the game for El Cambio, do you rather watch it alone, sitting alone on the side, or you would like to watch with the fellow fans for El Cambio as a much big fan? Less here at El Cambio when the game is playing, see many spectators coming in. Would you like to sit in between them, watching together, or alone?
I always want to watch the games alone. Yeah. Because whenever I'm in fans, you can hear some bad words from them, which I don't like. For example, regarding players within the same team. Yeah. So you hear, no, Joel is not good. Like Cafero is better than Joel. So I don't want to hear such a thing in fans. So then you can hear a fan talking about Cambio, long information. And I don't always like to follow in public. So that's why I always want to watch it alone. Yeah.
Yes.
Good. And how do you feel? Because you've talked about saying bad things about El Cambio, and if you're on the way walking or sitting somewhere in a restaurant having lunch, and you hear someone talking about bad things about El Cambio, how do you feel? And what would your reaction look like at that time?
First of all, I feel bad because I know it true. I don't know much about it, but I know it true because I have been there since its beginning. But whenever I hear someone talking bad things or giving global information, because everyone, many people think that they need Cambio. Yeah, true. Because it's in our area, but I don't always go into arguments in public, so I keep quiet. But it's not good whenever I hear someone talking about bad things about Cambio, about any player in Cambio, about Thomas and other stuff. So for real, I feel bad.
Yeah, this is just like a teaser for my viewers. Do you have a moment that you've shared with El Cambio that is still in your memories that you can't forget?
Yeah, many. But first of all,
the best one for you, or watching a game, the best game for you.
First of all, hosting Thomas. Yeah. That was a big moment. Up to now, I can't forget. Then in the pitch, when El Cambio we are playing for Chimanya, that game against Kenya, because you could hear people undermining our boys. They are very young. They can't beat such a team. And people were very, very many in the pitch. So we won, convincingly 2-1. So it was a good moment for me. And the other one, when we are playing like Masaka Sunshine FC, the other game, qualifying to regionals.
Against Intunda Old Timers. I can't forget that moment. And the other one, Yobo's goal against Masaka State. Yes. In Ikako, at Masaka Sunshine FC, we were down to 10 men. Guys, we are strong, and it was a derby. Yeah. So we got a goal in the last minute of the game. So those moments, but there are many, but some of the few. True. I can't forget. Yeah.
Because being here from the beginning and up to now they are 8 years.
Yeah.
So you really should have
Of course.
about El Cambio. Anything do you what would you wish for El Cambio
To
happen?
to stay in Uganda
Yeah.
for many years. That's my wish, because you see, even younger players.
In Uganda, in Masaka, or elsewhere in Uganda? 'Cause
Basically in
Uganda is
Masaka.
too big.
Basically in Masaka.
Why do you like Masaka?
Because it's that's where I study. So I would like to see El Cambio staying in Masaka for many years, and to keep developing.
And this is the what if for you. What if El Cambio shifts to another region and it's not in Masaka? Would you still support?
Definitely, I could still support, even I could travel
Yeah.
and such area to watch
Yeah.
our games. So I'm an El Cambio supporter in all ways.
Positions.
Yeah.
And what is the worst moment and the bad, like the worst moment you've received during as you're a supporter of El Cambio?
As me, a supporter of El Cambio,
Yeah.
one of the moments, like hearing somebody who is against El Cambio and long information about El Cambio doesn't make me good. So others are normal,
Yeah.
like because things in football are normal. But on the other part of like outside the pitch, that's where I feel disappointed sometimes due to the words from different people.
And have you ever lost, has El Cambio ever lost a game and you feel like this should not be the game that we should lose, and you're so touched to that lose?
Yeah, the defeat against the younger Simba.
Yeah.
Did you play in the barracks?
No,
Because we had few
I
players.
was injured.
Yeah, many players were injured. So the guys tried their best, because we have few. You could see many players playing out of their positions.
Yeah.
But it was 0-0, and we conceded 2 goals in the 3 added minutes. So it went to 0. So
Yeah.
that defeat was hurting.
Yeah.
So that's what I can say. Even Chito was a defeat, Nikalanga, because the team was good, fans were supporting, but unfortunately we lost 1-0.
Yeah.
And the guys put on a good performance, but just we were unlucky on that day.
Yeah.
Maybe that's why we lost.
Have you ever felt like crying for a game?
Like because of joy or
Anything, or a loss or a win?
I win,
Joy,
for
or-
sure. Your boss goal against Masaka City.
Yeah.
Remember, we are down to 10 man. I want to mention who got a red card. We are so many fans. We are saying that it's now the time. Like some fans, every fan, it's now the time. They're going to lose, and the other team was pushing.
Yeah, true.
They wanted to score a winning goal,
Yeah.
but all of a sudden, I saw moment magic from Elvis and up to Yobo. Then the other moments actually which made me cry. I cried, surely. It was in the World Cup under 17.
Yeah.
When I saw our boys lifting under 17. So I had to remember many people were not believing in this project at the beginning. You could hear some people say they have nowhere to go.
Yeah.
They will not go very far at its beginning. But when I remember James's goal against France. Wow. Because it was Torach to Hamza, Hamza to James. When the game ended, I texted Thomas some emotional words, and that moment, because Uganda made history, and I think it will take a long time to break it. So it's one of my best moments as an Cambio fan. Like seeing our boys lifting a national team from their shoulders.
Yeah.
Yes.
To take to take it easy. For really the 8 years he has spent as a Cambio supporter, he really has much moments to share with us, but we could not make it all of it. And Ronnie, if you have some last words for a person who would like to be like you, a spectator for a Cambio, what would you advise him to be like?
Yeah, so first of all, I would like to, of course, to thank Thomas for selecting Uganda, because when I was talking to him, he had suggestions. He had too many countries. Among the countries, there was Colombia.
Yeah.
But I think it was God's grace for him to come here.
Yeah.
So he's a good man, he's a parent, he's a good friend of mine, and all the many people. So I appreciate. Then to the fans, I requested them to be good fans.
You can share it to, because Cambio is a worldwide academy.
Yeah.
So you can talk to wherever you are, the fan, they are talking to you, either in Uganda or outside Uganda.
Yeah, so to be good fans, a good fan or a loyal fan has to be a supporter and always good, because you can get some obstacles in that way. Defeats are normal in football, but you can hear someone whenever team being defeated 1-2 times, the run is away. So let's be good fans, discipline it on and off the pitch, because some people you could see them, they won't fight against the referees and opponents. So I just request, and there are many fans who are good, are passionate on and off the pitch. So that's my humble request for the fans of Cambio.
This is the last one. Do you have any other club or team you support?
They give.
Okay. Nice.
They support and Argentina because of Messi.
Messi.
They
Your favorite player?
Of course, Messi.
Yeah, in Uganda?
In Uganda,
Yeah.
my favorite players are playing for Cambio, and all of them. Those are my favorite players.
Okay, guys, this is a true fan of El Cambio, and I cannot make a statement that this is the player that I like the most, but still have the favorite player
Like,
from El Cambio.
No, all players here are my favorites. So
Nice.
just like sometimes it's a moment,
Yeah.
a day may come, a good day for Torash, a good day for Cafe, a good day for Isma.
Yeah.
But I like all the players
Yeah.
from El Cambio, and all my favorites. So like having children.
Yeah.
When you have 4 children, they may ask you, who is your favorite? You can't mention that this one or this one. So I say Cambio boys as my children. So they are all my favorites.
Yeah, that has been Ronnie, the presenter at Radio Wudu, and this has been his speech about being a fan of El Cambio from the beginning to now, and he's still being a supporter wherever El Cambio will go. You have heard from him, and try to take his advice as a Cambio fan. Discipline is most needed as a fan, and stay tuned for the next episode. Remember to subscribe. See you.